Gianni Storm. So you've got something going on in Cuba. Tell us all about it.
Yes. So if you guys haven't heard already, since July 11th, actually, Cuban citizens have taken to the street across the country of Cuba for the first time in more than 6 decades. That's 60 years to protect against deteriorating living conditions for them, for citizens, and the lack of basic goods and services, like medical attention, as well as I think coronavirus infection is increasing in Cuba as well. So the protest, with thousands of people calling for an end of the 62-year-old communist regime, protests spread to more than 40 cities and towns, including the capital, Havana, as well as United States cities such as Miami, New York, Atlanta. I just wanted the co-host, your opinions on Cuban citizens finally coming together and showing out, acting out, protesting.
All right, let's start with Lizzie.
I mean, I think, it's 2021 and, Fidel Castro is dead. Raul has stepped down from leadership of the country. So there is an opportunity to get a different type of government
Yep.
in the actual country. However, I'm always skeptical at how Americans cover this story because lest we forget the US embargo on Cuba,
Mm-hmm.
which has added to a lot of the disenfranchisement of Cubans, to the poverty in Cuba, to a lot of
Mhm.
the unrest in Cuba. Like, this isn't just something that was created by the Cuban government. The United States has aided in this.
Mm-hmm.
And they aided in this because, unfortunately, the Cuban government back in the mid 50s decided we don't want to be a US territory. It didn't start with Castro. It started with Batista.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And so I understand what a lot of the Cuban people have gone through over the past decades, but we always in America we always want to act like, our hands are free. Like we haven't contributed to this problem, and we have. We are a part of this problem. I think, once Raul stepped down, I think it was only natural that, okay, the country was going to try to decide, where do we go from here? Like, do we continue with this communist regime, or do we
Yeah.
do something that's a bit more democratic? And if we do do we allow the US government to take advantage of that? Like there are a lot of variables involved in
Yeah.
this situation.
Hmm.
Um, I feel bad for the people because they're the ones that generally suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've been keeping a close eye on this because I have a lot of Cuban friends. I want to one day
Yeah.
go to Cuba without having to go through Canada or go through all of these, you know,
Yeah.
side streets or whatever because of the embargo. But it's something that I think, Gianni, I appreciate that you brought this to the forefront because I think this is something, as we move through 2021 and go into 2022, this is a topic that's only going to get bigger and
Bigger.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
And we
agree,
need
Liz.
to
Oh,
we need to
absolutely.
we need to look at all sides of it and acknowledge our part as Americans in it.
Bobby.
Yeah, so I know one of the slogans in Cuba is Libertad y Muertes, so liberty or death, and that was coined by the government of the day, and now it's been rebranded by the people, Libertad y Vida, so liberty, liberty life. Um, and what's you're right, Johnny. There's a lot of factors that have been driving this. COVID-19 and the lack of response or the ability to respond is a huge contention point. I know that Russia is sending COVID vaccines to the island nation of Cuba. So hats off to Putin. Not often that I get to give
Really?
him props. I don't get to give him props often, but he's sending doses to people who need them. So hey, great. Um, The economic situation
I
in the
mean, he's
last
only
year.
doing it. I mean, you got to realize why he's doing it, though. He's only
Might
doing
be
it.
a
So
I was like, what's the edge?
I mean, he's not doing it just to be a nice guy.
No, he's not. But if the people are receiving,
At least.
something positive from that, then so be it. Because we ain't giving
Mhm.
Cuba
That's what I'm saying.
one
It should
bit.
be us.
So the U.S. is
We ain't giving them
shipping
shit.
millions of vaccines to India so that Indians can keep producing cheap wares for the U.S.
Exactly.
Right?
Very good
That
point.
kind of self-serving shit. Okay.
You better
So
tell him,
Gotcha.
Rob. You better tell him. You better tell him,
the
Rob.
but like the economic situation has deteriorated in the last year because Cuba relies heavily on tourism, and since last year, the government opened shops where Cubans can buy foods and basic necessities using foreign currency. But because there's no because no one's coming to Cuba anymore because of COVID, there's no foreign currency to be spent there. So people are really hurting. They don't have the means to procure the things that they need. And another factor that's really driving it is internet access. So now people are able to mobilize, organize, and really get together
True.
to overturn this government, overturn this regime, and have people or have their voices heard, to have a government elected by the people.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, you guys left me no time. So, fortunately,
We still need
Jacqueline
some comments.
Robinson mentioned what I was going to mention. So, I'm going to read her comment. Glad you mentioned the embargo. We were in Havana a couple of years ago, and there are a list of hotels, restaurants, etc., that Americans were prohibited from visiting. We went via a cruise because Obama attempted to normalize relations with Cuba, but IQ45 shut all such attempts down. So, yeah, and I was going to mention Obama and then Trump's subsequent
And let me just say
shutdown.
last point. Embargo has been in effect since 1958.
There's no last point.
1958. So.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Jeez.
In a long time. All right, great topic, Gianni. Thank you very much for that
Yes, thank you, Johnny.
Thank you guys.
one. All right, so we are going.